Sorry, I went to go. I realized that I went to go put the headset on. I was like, oh god, the cord is missing again. Kip takes it and plugs it into other things. So yeah, yeah, the bandit struck again. Yeah, took it and ran to the other room. So anyway, let's get rolling. Wednesday the 19th. Man, I cannot believe that July is already like half over. We're approaching the end. Um, pound getting absolutely just nuked right now. Yeah. CPI came in at 7.9. Again, not only was it lower than last time, huge jump to the downside. Again, meaning that, is the pound at a sufficient level right now where if they give it another, couple months that it's really back within striking distance? Could be. Look at this euro pound. I mean, you can say that, oh my God, the pound dollar is down 178. Yeah, percentage wise, it's big. But this euro pound, it's like 200% of what a standard ATR is. 107 is an absolutely monstrous move to the upside in that pair. So, again, it's just showing you the weakness. You're seeing pound yen kind of flat, but right now we're seeing massive amounts of yen weakness. Look at this. Look at the dollar, right? It's not like the dollar's moving, it's grinding a little bit, but it's not, you're saying 361, 15, 19. Not really a lot. It's absolutely a yen play. But again, it is weak fighting each other, down 17 pips in 24 hours. So kind of crazy not to see that one moving. Dollar yen, biggest mover on the um, it's kind of tied. It's fluctuating back and forth between these two, right? And it's not necessarily the dollar. It is more just the yen and the pound. So it makes the dollar look like it's really going crazy. But the reality is 12, 6, 64, showing weakness there. Again, a little bit of strength here. So yeah, craziness. So that CPI data absolutely nuking the pound. Housing starts. Again, housing starts typically don't move the market too much. Obviously, the higher interest rates tends to affect that arena a little bit more. There was an adjustment down and then even lower than expected on this one. And this is new housing. New housing is always one of those weird kind of data points. It kind of, if you're following, if you're a stock trader and you're trying to trade, like the home builders and stuff like that. And, some of it is good, but, there are a lot of places where, there's plenty of houses built, right? What does the existing inventory look like? If you're buying a house, yeah, there are people that want new houses, but, for the most part, a lot of people buy, houses. I don't want to say used because used is kind of like the wrong word. Lived in houses, right? They're not new, right? They were part of the previous inventory. Okay. So, it's kind of one of those data points that it's like, does it really tell us much? Are they not building as much? And why are they not building as much? Right? Could it be because, loans are bad? Could it be because finding more land is difficult? I mean, there's a number of different reasons why. Overall, is it a trend? Is it a leading indicator of what we're about to see? Yeah, sure. You know, but the interest rate's really high. There's always that. I guess balancing act is probably the best way to say it, right? The balancing act of, is it better to be a you know homeowner, or is it better to be a home renter? Because there are perks and things like that. When you're a renter, you don't get some of the current benefits, but at the same time, there's a lot of negatives that you don't have to worry about, right? Um, so yeah, so kind of a hard one, right? And then building permits, kind of the same thing. Tonight we're gonna get unemployment claims, unemployment rate. Again, not expected to change too much. The unemployment change obviously being a lot less than it was last time, but the forecast was supposed to be 18 and it came in really high. So if there's an adjustment in the 75, would not be surprised. It's supposed to come right back in that mid-teen level. And then again, the unemployment rate not changing. We probably won't see much. More comments out of the ECB, very likely to raise by 25 basis points next week. Again, kind of hearing the same thing out of the dollar. Big fight over here, not moving too much. All right. Tomorrow morning, we have unemployment claims. We have Philly Fed Manufacturing Index. Remember, we had our Empire manufacturing already this week, and it looked good. Better than expected. Hold on. What? Oh, got it. And then obviously existing home sales. You can see the difference, right? New homes over here is like 1.4. Over here, you're talking about 4 times as high, right? That 4.2. So existing homes is a bigger piece of it. But again, not necessarily the biggest day. Now remember, tomorrow morning I will not be on. I have to ref the game at Navy Stadium tomorrow morning. Again, it's kind of one of those things. It's a hobby, but at the same time, it's the connections. Again, being called by the Naval Academy to come ref is kind of an honor. I know it's at a random time, but it's kind of a cool experience. Being on base with Navy cadets and things like that at that level. particularly in our area. So there's only a select few that actually get it. So fun experience, but at the same time, kind of an honor. So I will not be on tomorrow morning. I will be at the Naval Academy tomorrow morning. So with that, let's go over look at the VIX. So VIX, not really moving much, right? A little bit of a grind down. You may look at this and be like, yeah, we're a little bit lower, right? Down 1%. It's not a ton. Again, none of the data out there right now is really justifying any type of craziness out there. Again, we're pecking around that like 13 mark, and again, it's a fine place to be, right? There's nothing wrong with 13 down here. Is there anything that we're really super concerned about? Major? No, not really. I did see headlines this morning, which again, it's not folded over into the market yet, and we haven't seen any headlines about it. Um, and it was a weird headline. It's one of those headlines where you're like, right? Um, I, I, it's like, how do you take it, whether it's positive or negative? But it says Democrat and Republican senators agree expansion of NATO, right, into Asia is inevitable amid growing China concern. I don't know. You'd say that's a good thing or a bad thing. Is China going to take that as NATO aggressiveness? Is that going to feed into what Russia is already saying? Probably. Probably. Is it going to cause some tensions? Probably. Probably. The North Atlantic treaties. Yeah. It's like, yeah, our NATO, our Northern Atlantic allies are going into Asia, right? In the Pacific. It's like, I see how China could take that as being hostile, right? And meeting the so we'll see. So it's one of those things. I don't know if that's they're trying to say, look, Republicans and Democrats can work together. Look at that. They do agree on things. Or if it's the second part of it that they really want to focus on. It's like it's kind of like that clickbait headline. It's like, wait, they agree on something? What are they agreeing on? And whether it's best practice or not best practice. So yeah, we'll see. So that's down a little bit again, but dollar up, right? Is a dollar moving like really, really strong? No. Yesterday we saw this big pop, a pullback, and again, this whole area we knew we had sellers in here. We had clearing wicks up, and it, just grind. 2, 3 o'clock this morning, pop up again, and then grind again, and then pulled up and pulled back a little bit again, and we're sitting over here. And again, we tend to see this pullback before the U.S. session, and then U.S. session comes in. We tend to see dollar strength roll back in. So, you know, it's in an area where you're up half, a quarter percent. There's no real news today that is really kind of associated with it. So, even though it's doing that, I think that's the right, I think the market is probably preparing for next week, but at the same time, is it? Hold on, I'm trying to figure out. I hear Melissa's home today, but I'm trying to figure out. It's like I hear one crying, but am I hearing two crying? Um, Kip was playing with like a metal water bottle, just making sure nobody got clunked in the head. Again, Melissa's here, so it's not it's not on me today. I hear her talking, so it sounds like it's Kip was told no. That's what it sounds like. So yeah, I mean, maybe this thing pulls back. All the indices up about the same, right? 0.38 is the biggest mover. 0.28 is the slowest mover. They're all up about a third of a percent. And again, no real news that changed this trajectory. I think things are, overall not bad. We got VIX down, which is good. Dollar up. All the indices are up, but we have all the commodities up. Well, gold actually just ticked back a little bit, but gold's up to 1978. It's still a bit of fine buyers, and silver over 25 now. It's sitting up there at 25.15. Again, looking at that news for the UK, it's kind of like, wow, we have stagnant inflation already. Is it going to go backwards? What's it going to do? Gold slightly kind of peeking into the red right now, but oil, God, we're back up there again. 76.67, up a dollar, right? Up 1.33%. It's like, oof, we're going back to that 77. And we saw on the charts that it has kind of a clean run up there. Natural gas holding, but we're up at 263. It's up just a smidge. Gold and silver will be the two big ones to look at. We'll see what the dollar is able to do today if we end up getting buyers or sellers coming into that. Assuming that that's what we're gonna, that's what the continued movement looks like. So yeah, I mean it's it is what it is. I don't like oil up this high. I think anytime we talk about tensions, it's going to go higher. So we'll see. We'll see. Aussie. So Aussie continued to deteriorate. Yesterday we were talking about this, and again there was a small trade here this morning in it. We talked about getting basing and a pullback in there. You can see right now there was a little bit of a base and it pulled back to the last little area. I would say where this one again rolling into the U.S. session, you could have traded it here, right? Again, it dropped at base, then we're like, oh god, will it pull back? Well, there was a base drop right here. It did pull back, grab that one, and took off to the downside. So that kind of Harry Potter has already happened. That's what you're looking for. But if you're going to use it now, you kind of got to use this level up top here. Um, Again, that's kind of if you're using the base, again, failure to go higher, one candle base, drop down, pull back, tested, confirm, kind of sitting there right now again. So again, Aussie dollar, we need the dollar strength to roll back into the market. But, there was one trade you could have taken already, and that trade would have kicked off at about 2 o'clock this morning. Um, you would have had to be up and kind of grab this one to find out where it was. But once you saw this basing here, you're like, yeah, this is drop base drop. Nice little level, one little triangle right there. And that's what it grabbed and went lower. And it was a nice little run, from that level, from bottom of that one, about 40 something pips. So, I mean, being able to grab 47 or 40 something pips by 7:30 this morning, nice way to wake up, right? Nice way to see that one. So, I would expect this one to turn and roll back down again. You may already be in. If not, be looking for another continuation of it. If you want to run fibs from top to bottom, not hard to do. You're also seeing we are supplemented as well by the 23.6. So, kind of the same continuation from here, just pushing back down. And we know that we're in a racetrack once we get below that. Obviously, there's a little bit of a base down here, which we don't love to see. But I think it was just so extended down this morning that we was looking for a place to turn and reverse, and it did. Aussie yen. Aussie yen not moving. Yesterday, we talked about the 61.8 at 94.76. You can see late last night at about 7:30, we hit it, we dropped. We came back, we hit it again. We hit it, we dropped again. We hit it, we dropped again, and now we're back up there. So is it a continued sell area? Not really. I mean, it's been hit so many times. You can see the one there, again, 2 front runs, 2, 3, 4. This is hit number 5. Obviously, the sellers have been there. I mean, huge push off this, and then again, miss, and then another run. And this was actually not a horrible run. Went about 30 pips down, and then the second push went about 40. So you had multiple opportunities to get out of this trade. But at this point, can you use this one for a short? Not really. It's just been hit way too many times. I know there's ascending candles. If you look at it here and here and here, you say, hey, Brian, there's all sellers in there. We're rolling into a session. You're right. You're right. But it has been there so many times. Every time it hits, it gets a little bit less of a chance, less of a chance, less of a chance, less of a chance. And the question is, how many times you want to roll the dice, right? Typically after 3, typically we're done with it. It doesn't mean that it's a hard and fast rule that's it. It's going to do 3 and then every time break. No, of course not. Of course not. But we do know that every time it hits it, there's more of a chance and a higher chance and a higher chance and a higher chance. And at what point do you say that that's it, right? Typically for us, after 3 hits, we're done, right? 4 is typically where we base. 5 goes just right through. And again, if you don't count the initial basing here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is 5, this one should skyrocket through. So next level for me looking up top is this 94.96 level. Again, it does have a little bit of backstop from the 78.6. For me, that's not a big deal, but I know some people really like fib traders or that fib level. Again, tends to work better in commodities in my opinion, but again, fibs are fibs. So take it for what it's worth. Right now, with it being steady up green, though, I do like that. That is one of the things I like about it. If we can get another 2 pushes up without really pulling back, that means we should have a clean run all the way back down into about this level, right down here, about 94. I'll just take it to 94.40, right? 94.40 is where that profit taking should be. So again, there is something in here. If you want to be aggressive, maybe if you drop it down to a 5 minute, you see red, green, red, you're able to take something along those lines. But besides that, not a lot in here. And there was some. And it's funny. You look where the reversals came in at on this one. You can see that the 3 o'clock candles here, we kind of drove it down. And then right around that 4 or 5 o'clock, we popped back up again. And then 5:30, what do? We hit that level at 5:30 and dropped. And we talk about, a move. That was 40 pips. That was 40 pips. And again, if you didn't want to use the original zone, if you wanted to redraw that for more recent right there, that's what that one looks like. Here, I'll change. I'll just do this. Right? This is what your drop would look like. There's your 2 candle base. There's your push down, and it hit it again. It's like, okay, well, there's 2. This is 3 from that level, right? Not the original, right? So had you taken that one from here, you can see 1 to 3 is right there. So it went well past. And again, that was 11 for 34. I love 10 for 30. 11 for 34 is also not bad. And that would have been a 5:30 in the morning reversal, right? For those of you that are reversal traders. And again, that's a nice one, right? Right? Not a bad trade at all. Euro dollar. All right, so euro dollar. We kind of did this one yesterday, and we talked about how we're in. There's some profit in there. You can see it got really, really close, right? And again, this is drawn right now to 3.03, little 20 pip risk, and it made it down here, and it missed tagging out by 2.5 pips. Um, right now, from that same level from yesterday, you're still up about 37. At peak, you were up 60. And we talk about where reversals come in. And we know that we had seller or buyers coming in, right? I'll throw a horizontal line on here. You know that we had buyers kind of really stepping in. They did it here, kind of got front run. It went just past. So it's kind of one of those ones. It's like, do we hold it? Are we giving up? Are we going to risk? You're going to risk 62 pips? Are you going to risk 60 pips to get those last two? It's kind of like maybe put it a little bit shy where we knew we had buyers. Maybe stick it right there. It becomes a 2.6. Then you get out, and again, you can see that it went well past. So kind of one of those ones. You're still profitable in it right now, right? I'm trying to get it right on 3.02. We're closer, but you're still positive. It's just there's just not a lot of movement. You're talking about 0 pips in 24 hours. We're in the same exact spot as what we were yesterday. Okay, euro pound. So euro pound, you can see right here, 2 o'clock. What happened? Where'd it go? Pretty easy. Pretty easy. 2 o'clock CPI, big miss to the downside, big weakness, all the way back up again. Okay, now. This is past the 78.6, so we can do some changes on this one. You can see it did start its hiccuping right where this zone was, right here. See it right there? So it fought. It actually came up and used that same level, but we're going to take it off now just to get a clean draw from the top side, right? So if you're going to run fibs, and again, remember the daily ATR, even with as much movement, it has over 100 pips today. Even with over 100 pips today, the daily ATR is only 43 pips. So we're over double today what it typically will do in a day. So that's what we're looking at right now. Right now, a couple things to point out again, where the impulse moves are not as strong. Impulse correction, impulse, smaller correction, impulse, smaller correction, impulse, and it's like, oh god, we're really capping out. And you'll notice we're right around at the 8700, which is also a big deal. And again, if you look at where the 8700 is, we're sitting right around here. Let's see. I'll just drag this one down. 8700 is right there. Well, what do we have there? This whole level of basing. So, is there sellers up in this area? Yeah, absolutely. So, really for this one, I'm really looking for the collapse, the kind of move. It's a huge move. We know that again, all the news is out. The news for the UK is out. The news for the euro raising next week is out. There's not really a whole lot more tomorrow morning, right? If you look at this, what do we got? US claims. So, I mean, Nagel said this yesterday, but then followed up with it today. Um, market's got it factored in, right? Market's got it factored in. And again, this is more of a next week thing, but if the market is able to maintain and hold high, and again, they've told everybody it's going to be 0.25. If it comes out 0.25, then that would be a weak trade next week because the market has already factored it in. So again, kind of line it up in ways that we would assume. I hear lots of let's see. Hold on one sec, guys. One sec, guys. Um, so yeah, I do think there is a turn and a rollover on this one, coming out pretty soon. So, um, um, hold on, hold on one sec. All right. So again, with price being pretty high, look for the turn, look to the roll back to the downside. So, yeah. Um, Euro yen. All right. So, Euro yen is, again, this is being affected mostly by the euro because we are seeing that euro reversal. Um, you can see we talked about the 5650. So I'll pop back down and then kind of retrace back up again. So unfortunately, I mean, we can take this side out now. Let's see. We did get the push back down. Again, we talked about this level yesterday. You can see that we got kind of front run and then we hit it again, based in there, and then it actually Harry Potter right off of it right here. And actually, again, not a Harry Potter trade because again, we had another zone sitting right there. So it came up, went up, and then shot back down again. Um, oh, one sec, guys. I have to take care of something real quick. All right. Let's see. Let's move this guy. Let's move this guy. I'm going to remove this and this. And again, we're flipping. Did it hit? No, it didn't hit. Okay. All right. Let's take this downside up. All right. So leave this over there. I'm actually going to delete this one right now. Okay. Hold on. All right. So you can see right now, based off where the base is there, or where the flip was, we are coming back to a 23.6, which will help. Now, we've had massive, in 2 days, we've had really kind of massive movement inside of the yen. We are getting back high on the curve. We do have a Harry Potter breaking of 158. Question is, can we get there? We're like 156.65. Um, we got 100 and what? Basically, the 158. So we got like 150 pips to go. So we're just over a day's worth of movement to get there. Question is, are we going to continue to see this much yen weakness? Right now, um, I don't know. There's not, the 50 is not really a great level. And again, the step in here, step in here, step in here, step in here. Hmm. My thinking on this one is we have hit this level so many times, right? 158 again, being a double, use a triple zero or whatever you want to talk. One, two, three. Oh, it's going to act as an area of sellers, but I'm really looking for a break above. I'm really looking for the long trade. And again, we have that alert set in there. I think at this point, let it go higher. Again, maybe him telegraphing that raise. Maybe if we can get another one or two people to say things, we can get this one to burst higher. I do think we probably have a little bit of a pullback, right? But I don't think we have European weakness that setting in the rest of this week. I think it's more of kind of a next week type thing. Um, hmm. Yeah, I think we need to wait. I think we need to wait. It's one ATR away from hitting that zone again. Problem is there's just no high quality zones looking over here. I mean, there's this one little kind of like confirmation bit here at 157.36. Um, Sorry guys. Sorry. All right. Sorry. Just it's a I'm trying to help a parent. Single parent, my dad's like tries to control everything, and the kid's the one that suffers, and he manipulates the kid, and the kid just, kid loves everything, and then all of a sudden the dad comes, he's like, well, maybe we shouldn't do this. It's like, can you just leave your kid alone? Drives me insane. So yeah, I think right now, wait for this one to go long. There's a few levels over here. Just don't necessarily love it for a reversal that much. So yeah. Um, Pound dollar. So pound dollar, we talked about this. You can see, again, I can bring this pattern over if you guys want to see what it looks like. There's what it looked like, right? We'd had a little bit of a pullback. So it came in. I mean, I can extend this across. It was literally right on. It came in at base. It came back. It grabbed it and then it took off. Again, there's the pattern we drew. There's the push, right? Down, up, came over and went down. And again, there was one other opportunity. It kind of did the second little hiccup. It kind of did one of these, but that was the first kind of mark in. So pretty close to all. It's been there all week. We were talking about getting it back in here. All we had to do is just move it down just a tad below that level. And now you can see it's much, much deeper. Now, pound dollar, again, we know this is pound weakness, right? I think there will be some pound strength coming back into the market. Um, we're at an area where buyers are coming in. Now, the question is, will we see profit taking from all the pound weakness? Will the market have factored it all in and will they start to reverse it? And on the flip side, will the dollar start kind of creeping up? Now, right now, we looked at the Dixie earlier and it's grinding, it's slow, it's nothing major. So I think the biggest factor involved with this one is really going to be we've had so much pound weakness, right? I mean, you can see where the news is, right? From that point, it's 145 pips down. It has a daily ATR of 92. So we are beyond what normal is. And we tend to see profit taking in those situations, right? That market closes just in under 2 hours. So, you know, kind of looking for this one. Um, it's hard. We're at 129 too. So it's at the right spot for a turnaround, right? It's at the right spot. The zone though has been tested pretty deeply, so it's kind of hard for me to say go long. If we can get a green, red, green kind of a confirmation coming out of this zone, then yes, if you wanted to pull the trigger, take this one long, take advantage of profit taking coming in, you absolutely could do that. So, I think it's there. Um, mm, mm, it's hard. It's hard. Yeah. I think look for a reversal, but I need a confirmation. Need a confirmation. Pound yen. All right, so pound yen just tagged 78, so we can remove that. As you can see, again, big move down from that 2 o'clock time frame. And again, this is kind of like, I don't want to say worst case scenario, but this is like week versus week, right? You can see the total move on that one was about 164. It's got a 154 daily ATR, so it's about where it's supposed to be. It is running into buyers. If you look back, you guys can see that right in here, there are buyers stepping in. It kind of went down, base, pulled back, and then took off. And that's where the base is, right? So, you know, at an area where reversal should be coming in, absolutely. Now we've gotten a green, we've gotten a red, and then again the green wasn't as high, so it's still trying to find its bottom. Again, some of this has to do with that session rollover. Um, yeah. So again, we are at a point where this makes a big deal. Hmm. Yeah, same thing. Give us the green, red, read. We do have the green right now. We have the red that did not go as low, so we're just waiting for a green candle to close above. So I'd say that this one is probably ready to go, but we need a little bit of help. It's got to go a little bit more. It's got 25 minutes to go on that one before we can get a confirmation in there, and that would still require us to have that strength to roll back in, and it's kind of fighting right now. So I think it probably rolls back. We probably end up at the 181.20-ish mark. Ideally, that's where we'd like to be. Kind of bring us back into the middle of that range. So, um, dollar CAD. All right. Um, I think right now we're in a great shorting opportunity. We were talking about finding a base. There's a base sitting right there. There is a racetrack below this one. So, again, we talked about dollar strength rolling back in, but if it doesn't, again, there's 9 pips there. We got room to run to the downside. You can see this one could come, and we said profit targets down here at 131.24. So there's absolutely room to run, right? Absolutely room to run on that one. Um, yeah, look for a base and a pullback. I'm actually okay with this one. What's the dollar doing right now? Yeah, see, we're pulling back. We're still kind of grind, but again, having oil help us right now, it's helping bring this CAD position down a little bit. So again, I think that makes sense. I'd like to see a little bit of a base, some space in there, get a little air, pull back up, and then continue to push lower. But right now, I'm good with this one down to 131.24. I think again, 2 profit targets would be 131.24 and 131.04. Dollar Swiss. So in 24 hours, 4 pips, and yes, super snooze, super snooze, super snooze. Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's there, right? Again, you got this bump, 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 bump all the way up. Not much. Yeah, just 2 sideways. Nothing. Again, dollar strength, but Swiss has got to be, Swiss got to assist as well, but just too sleepy. Not much in there. Now, dollar yen. All right, so yesterday, we knew down here at 9:30 we had some sellers in there, but it wasn't really a strong level that we were super worried about. It hit it and pulled back, hit it and pulled back, hit it, pulled back in base, and then kind of used it as a basing level. We talked about 139.60 being an area where there were sellers. It was kind of in the middle of nowhere between the 23 and 50, and we're like, it's kind of there. Um, there's the bit right there, right? It hit it, it pulled back, it came back up, and then it's kind of using it right now, and it's kind of stuck. Overall, again, it didn't have a whole lot of support, and it spent a lot of time there, so it did kind of already hit it and leave. The trade kind of already took off on there, and again, once you had all this basing and the confirmation in there, it didn't have a 1 to 3 to the downside. So again, most likely, not something you would have taken. I think right now we want this one to continue to go higher. I'm looking at this one up here at this 140.79. It did push it deep, but now that it's driven all the way down, the 50 is also helping. So although it's a mirror top, which I don't love, you do have the 50% traders in there now also helping it. Okay. Um, so yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's where we need to run to. I think it has probably a little bit of a hiccup, but there's a little hiccup right here. But until we get something on a bigger time frame, we need some help. Let's actually grab some fibs from the bottom side up and see if there's any areas of support. Yeah, they're coming right off this level. So let me remove this one. Take those guys are out now. And you can see it kind of came back and started to grab this area buyer. So yeah, big question is we can punch through. We should be high. And again, if you really wanted to play a Harry Potter that top side, you should actually have some basing in that level. It should fight through those buyers and then pull back to grab them to go higher. So there potentially could be one of these, pull back, and then up. Okay. That's what it's looking at. Okay. Bitcoin, you can see Bitcoin now. Again, the dollar is grinding higher. It's now under 30,000 again. It's pushing back to the downside. TLT also kind of finding a peak and pushing back down again. It's kind of high compared to what we've had recently, back down to the 98, but overall, it's low from what we've seen lately. And again, that's the dollar strength continuing to roll back into the markets. Looking at crude. Now, talked about 7603. You can see it hit it this morning at about 4:30. It hit it and pulled back down again, and then came back up and drove and actually pulled back down and then went higher. So, um, Kip is just pissed. right now we are hitting a little bit of a chunk, right? You got this little chunk right here, and that's what we're running into. But as we said yesterday, until we get back up to 77.22, yeah. Yeah, yeah, we're not. I mean, if we come back up to there, you can see. Look at the 50, right? Look at this 50 down here. If we come back up into that level and start testing it, you see how the 50 is now starting to come in plays with pullbacks. Again, base, pullback, pullback. That tends to be what we see. So I don't know. Maybe these are really strong sellers. And here, I'll just box this off so it's easy for you guys to see. Right? That group of sellers right in there, all that basing, the lower, 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 then boom. That's what we're running into right now. So maybe we get a reversal back. Maybe that's it. Maybe those sellers are good enough. And if it does run back down, probably going to have some issues around the 76 mark. But I feel like, again, if we can get up to the 77.20, again, a great level before, take that one and take it short. Natural gas, did it hit any of them? No, got front run twice. So we talked about it. We talked about where this came in, the 61.8 being there. You can see this one got front run at 264.7 and then 264.8, right? They're both sitting right there. Anybody have dogs that like they scratch the floor before they sit down? They like scratch it and spin in circles. It's a very common thing for dogs to do. I guess it's in their gene or like DNA or whatever. It's basically it's the reason they do it is like it's like a learned thing about like snakes is what supposedly what it is. Well, when you have a Great Dane that scratches the carpet, she actually can cause massive amounts of damage to the carpet because she's just so big, right? It's 100 pounds worth of dog digging like in dirt, trying to make sure there's no snakes before she sits down. She's just she's I can hear her just right in the other room, and Melissa's just letting her do it. So messed up my wood floor. Yeah, so yeah. Now, I haven't seen it on. We don't. I have wood floors. She hasn't done it on wood floors. It's only carpet. But it's been like a minute now, and all I can hear is this. I'm not exactly sure where Melissa is. It's like, hey, she's, God forbid, like one of the hooks or like one of the loops in the carpet catches on one of her nails. We had one of my parents' dogs did it, and it was like a Berber carpet, and it caught one of the hooks. And next thing you know, there was like a 4-foot circle where the dog had pulled all of it out. It was like, look, I'm getting something. So I'm like, she's gonna destroy that. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do in this room to get her stopped. So anyway, where natural gas is, kind of basing sideways in there. We're between those two levels. Again, 265, and then obviously down here, the 259. Again, two levels. We mentioned it. Is it a great sell? I mean, obviously, we got front run on it twice. Again, it was a 61.8 in there, depending on how you drew it. Maybe it kind of snuck down a little bit. But same thing, we're getting some basing at the bottom. So it's really going to have to break through one of those two sides. So it's really going to have to break through 257.7 and 265 up top. All right. Gold. Again, gold. We mentioned that, hey, listen, we're kind of peaking up there. If we can get a red, green, red, you can see a red, green, red came out of the 180.50. We hit it this morning at about 3 o'clock and then had a nice push down. It should have been actually a 1 to 3 in there. 1 to 3. So, yeah. I mean, it's already gone once and it's going to go again. I think this one makes sense. Again, the big surge up yesterday. Again, gold kind of got smacked around. And then since that time, dollar's been grinding back up again. And again, it's starting to push down. So gold's, when we first started, gold was basically flat. It was actually slightly positive, and now you can see it is rolling back down again. Again, if you got in this trade, you are officially out. You would have got it at 7:30 this morning. I think overall targets on this one, if you are short, look to get out at like 260. And I would actually change this to 260. You know what? I would do I'm sorry, not 2. I would go 1965. 1965 ending in the 6.5, you should be okay there. It's before the buyers really step in. So if you are short, once we clear this level, we should be able to continue pushing much, much lower. Again, look at 25. So silver, it's up a little bit, but look at this battle. Boom, 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 base, 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 boom, popped above. It's like, yes. And then got sucked back down. And look at this. Ride. And we're hitting it again. And it's again, with gold starting to go negative, silver should follow, and it's getting sucked right back into that 50, that 25. So I think if silver wants to hold up here at 25, I think it gives us amazing short opportunity when we finally do have that dollar strength rolling back in. They are going to raise interest rates again, and they could say, hey, listen, we're going to do two more, right? We're not dropping as fast as everybody else. Talking about that entrenched inflation. Again, the longer it stays, the more harm it's going to cause. Um, we know that it's a little bit sticky. And at the same time, we know that oil, again, oil going higher, gas prices going higher, and consumer price, producers are a thing. It's costing them more. Higher fuel costs, and it's costing them to produce more. That means it's going to get shipped out. It's going to cost more than what it was 6 months ago, which means inflation has the ability to come back again. So again, I do think there will be much more of a fight. Right now, it makes sense, but you can see, look at this. This is, since last Thursday, almost a week, we've been stuck right at the same level. So again, look for a short in this one. Apple, what do we got here? Apple's kind of found a top. You can see it hit it yesterday, and it's pulling back down. There is a little bit of a Harry Potter in Apple, so you Apple traders out there, be a little bit cautious. Again, it's kind of a Harry Potter with after hours, so it doesn't work as well. But again, on a technical level, if you looked at this and was this, this was dollar Swiss, and you saw this, yeah, you'd be like, yep, taking this one short. If the markets start to get negative, and again, NQ is, it's fluctuating at flat right now. If the negativity rolls in, we got more room to run back down to 191 in Apple. Tesla, again, a little bit higher, a little bit more insulated. I don't know if there's the headlines. Start talking about the volatility of EV stocks ahead. Again, it's doing a little bit from where it opened. It's kind of flat. It's higher than where it closed, sure. But is it really cruising since we opened? Nah, it had a little bit of a spike up, a little spike down. If anything, it looks like it's not as high as the last spike up. It looks like it will also start rolling. So we may get some increased negativity here rather fast. All right, so ES. Overall, let's see. 730, 839, 915. Again, bunch of new through highs, so no opening trade today. A lot of basing, but overall, again, I think this was 7:30 this morning, there was a trade that you guys could have got into if you're looking at it early. Again, it was there a long time, and it hit it and hit it again. If anything, if this does start and roll, I think you need to look at profit taking right in here at 45.90, right? I think 45.90 is going to be where the area needs to be. So, yeah. Yeah, think 45.90. We start to get a negative spin. I think this one turns and flips. And I wouldn't actually be surprised being 10.17. The initial shows up. All the retail traders are buying right now. If this turns and rolls, this would be where it happens. So again, if you're going to get short, again, opening print was all the way up here, right? So again, not even close to a pullback or anything like that. So not really an entry for us today. NQ, God, look at the volatility right there, 930. Look at that. It's like, what do we do with this one? We were up in a level. Again, it was kind of pushing. It was beyond kind of where the test was. So it was really close. Overall, I would say, yeah, it was kind of a more of a negative base trade. I guess if you would have traded this and said, hey, look, there's a zone right there, which is kind of big. We were up in it already. Yeah, you probably would have got stopped out with futures just by a little kind of bit on the top, and it is pushing back down. I think overall, I think looking at a level in here, and what's dangerous is these two little areas. But if we break through to the downside, and again, start smashing through this 15,945, look for this one to tumble a little bit more. I don't know that we can get all the way down here. We need some big news to get this down to 15,750. I'm sorry, 15,797. But yeah. So, eh, yeah. Um, Yeah. So not opening print would have been bearish thinking. Again, if you trade it in futures, you probably got stopped. If you're trading in some type of an options based contract, you would have been fine on it. Overall, again, NQ will have to be the first one that goes negative. And right now it's positive, but it opened up here, so it's been nothing but straight down since the open. So it's one of those misleading, like, oh, from yesterday's close, we're up. You're down for today. So YM, do we have anything for YM? Nah, YM had that 9 o'clock takeoff. Yeah, it kind of had a base. Same thing. You were sitting right here at 930. You were breaking through the top side, so it would not have been a short-based entry. Again, YM taking off. Again, we have a level up here at 35,500 that we are looking for. It's got about 100 more points to go. No pullback as of yet. So, this is an area where we could see that turn and roll back to the downside. All right. But right now, again, YM is the strongest on the board. It started off at +3 and has not slowed down yet. And the news today, right? the news today, they may have looked at this and said, okay, not as bad as what we're thinking. Here you go. Bitcoin lagging despite gold weakening. Yeah. So they're doing some analysis on that too. So I think we're going to get some profit taking coming in. It's been straight up. People are in. They're not going to know when to get out. But right now, this would be the one that I wanted to short last. Russell, you can see Russell did pull back down. Russell had kind of an 8. I mean, there's obviously a level sitting down here, right? That's what we bounced off of at like 8, 8:15 this morning. And then got a red, green, red. I'm sorry, a green, red, green right here at 9. It pulled up and then, wow, look at the opening candle. Up and down wackiness. Big question is, will we pop through the buyer or the seller sitting right up there at 2006? Um, Overall, right now, the market is taking everything that I've heard today as a good sign. And again, maybe they're looking at the housing start as the Fed's not going to raise anymore. So, um, eh, I mean, obviously, there's a little bit more risk in this one, right? Russell, there always is. But again, it's chop back and forth. It's chop back and forth where YM has been straight up. The big call is going to be, can you get through? If you can get through 2006, I think you have the ability to go higher. But again, 1030 is where we tend to run out of steam, maybe at 12. I think of these two for reversing between YM and Russell, I think Russell's a better reversal. If you're looking to get into one of these for, try to make a counter trend trade today. But again, both of them have been straight up really since the open with no profit taking. So we should see some type of a roll back in. ES will be the big one. So ES is having a hiccup here, but we know we got room to run on this one. And again, NQ is kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. So NQ is really going to have to lead us. I think NQ is going to have to lead us for today. Natural gas is starting to, again, falter back and forth. Oil, look at oil. Again, on the 15-minute, you can see it. We got a red. The green's a little bit higher, so we'll see. And again, gold pushing back down. Silver also trying to fight to find if we're going to do it. And again, on the 15-minute, looks a little bit different, but you can see the gold is obviously powering back to the downside. So, yeah, is what it is. All right, so that's it today. Sorry for the interruptions. Like I said, it's when kids are involved, it's one of those things that I always near and dear to my heart. This parent has had, this player used to be with me in the past, and it's always bad because it's like, you have the two households and it's always causing drama. So it is what it is. All right. So we will close this one down at 2:30 on the day. We got 20 seconds to finish it out. Need some music. I feel so bad for this mom. Such a great kid. He's like one of my son's best friends on the team before he left. So it's like, I was like, oh, you're coming back. Awesome. Can't wait. Everybody's excited. And then now he's giving me a hard time. I'm like, it's always a power thing. All right, there we go. Winner of today's drawing is, again, I do the delay, not for Ernest's sake. And again, he risks the dice every time to see if he can get it in, that he doesn't have lag. But remember, I do have a lag between my speaking and when you guys actually hear it on the other side. So that's why I always try to put that in there just in case. It's not for Ernest's benefit, just so everybody knows. Winner of today's drawing is Ernest. He got it again, big. You guys you're giving it to him cheap. Giving to him cheap. Again, he gets 100 pip chips today, but he used 90 to get it. So he's still down. He's still down 80, I think. 80 pip chips thus far. So he needs tomorrow. He needs to win tomorrow for this to be a positive experience. And he did the sweep last time. He got the sweep last time. But the question is, will Lady Luck stay on his side? I know he is spending himself into a deficit. I mean, Neuro, it takes some luck because you got to win 3 in a row. And eventually that stacks up against you. So, I mean, no one's done it long term. He's trying, but he's eating up chips quite frequently. So, yeah, he's playing the long game, which still technically would be positive. But, every single ticket in makes his odds lower and lower and lower. So, it's hard. So, all right. So, with that, remember, I'm not here tomorrow. I will be back on Friday morning at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow, again, unemployment claims, Philly Manufacturing Index. I think it really is setting us up for the weekend again. And even Friday, there's not really a whole lot of news, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get some green days in here. Not massive movers, but some green days preparing for next week. So with that, I'm out of here. Catch you guys Friday. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you then. Take care, everybody.